I've spent years listening to white folks who think that their beliefs about racism and race are just as valid, if not more, than someone who's actually black. They don't know a single black person, let alone have a close friend who's black. They've never studied or researched anything about racism, but they seem to know it all. Sounds incredibly ignorant and arrogant, right? But this video is not about Black Americans specifically. Today I'm talking about people in America who are born transgender. Scientists don't know why some people are born transgender and others aren't. But there's strong anecdotal and historical evidence indicating that it's a naturally occurring phenomenon. Transgender people have existed for as long as humans have been around. Throughout the majority of history, we've recognized and even celebrated more than two genders. Before colonization, hundreds of cultures acknowledged and honored gender diversity. Transgender people have been observed cross-culturally, written about, and actually embraced and included. Sadly, in America, this is not the cultural norm. The fact is, most Americans don't have a single close friend who's transgender. American culture has normalized doubting and fearing and vilifying things that we haven't personally experienced. If you're poor, you must just not be trying very hard. If you're sick, you must have made bad health choices. America's conservatism and hatred has caused tremendous mental and physical suffering for people who are born transgender. Their suicide rate is among the highest in the nation. Transgender people, more than any other group, are more likely to be the victim of crime and murder in the U.S. The rate of homelessness is one of the highest. Parental rejection is one of the highest. Forcing transgender people to use bathrooms using the gender they were assigned at birth has proven to be extremely physically dangerous for the transgender person. Did you know that today in the United States, we still have a number of states where it is absolutely legal to deny housing, employment, services, and accommodations based on someone's gender identity? In many states, it's not just being fired for a job or being denied housing, but scores of other basic human rights that other Americans share. Today, there's a federal law called the Equality Act that, upon passing the Senate, could allow transgender people to share in the protection by law that's afforded to all other Americans. The House has already passed the bill. So instead of embracing and passing this long overdue law, politicians in the GOP are denying equality and basic human rights to people who are born transgender. And the lame conjured up excuses they're using to oppress transgender people are nothing short of ludicrous. Republicans and others are flipping out about allowing basic human rights to transgender people because transgender girls may want to compete in sports for their school or for their community. Yes, you heard me correctly. Ignorant and inhumane Americans do not want transgender people to have basic human rights in 2021 for housing, medical care, their occupation, and other major life necessities just because they want their daughters to win in sports. The Equality Act would provide consistent and explicit anti-discrimination protection for LGBTQ people across key areas of life, including housing, employment, credit, education, public spaces, services, and federally funded programs, including jury service. So right now, as we speak, scores of states do not allow transgender people to participate in normal life. And the most pathetic part is that it's all based on complete and willful ignorance. Once again, the GOP is completely full of it, making up some sort of lie to justify hatred. According to this month's Scientific America, there's no scientific case for excluding transgender people. In fact, in every case, those sponsors against the bill cannot cite a single instance in their own state or region where such participation has caused a problem. So here are some actual facts that you should know about. Policies permitting transgender athletes to play in the teams that match their gender identity are not new. The Olympic Games have had trans-inclusive policies since 2004. Not a single openly transgender athlete has ever qualified. California passed a law in 2013 that allows transgender youth to compete on the teams that match their gender identity. There's been no issues. In fact, the notion of transgender girls having an unfair advantage comes from the idea that testosterone causes physical changes such as an increase in muscle mass. But here's the catch. Transgender girls are not the only girls with high testosterone levels. An estimated 10 out of every 100 cisgender girls who participate in sports have something called polycystic ovarian syndrome, which results in an elevated testosterone level. They're not banned from female sports. Transgender girls on puberty blockers, on the other hand, have negligible testosterone levels. Let me read to you what one expert on testosterone and bioethics at Yale had to say about this. Studies of testosterone levels in athletes do not show any clear, consistent relationship between testosterone and the athletic performance. Sometimes testosterone is associated with better performance, but other studies show weak links or no links at all. And yet others show testosterone is associated with worse performance. Legislators in more than 20 states have already introduced bills to their state that would ban transgender girls from competing on girls' sports teams in public high schools. It's worth noting that this isn't the first time people have tried to discredit the success of athletes. The U.S. has a long history in similarly painting black athletes as genetically superior in an attempt to downplay the impact of their hard work and training. Once again, ascientific justifications are being used against our fellow humans, but it's not just sports this time. It's their human and civil rights. If you truly believe that all people deserve human rights, then that's all people. And just because you've never experienced what it feels like to be born transgender doesn't mean it's not absolutely real.